Welcome back to another video. Today we have a guide on my PvP rogue. I wanted to make a build where I could transition from a dungeon setup to a PvP setup without having to spend too much gold on respecking, so by no means is this the best PvP build for rogue. There's probably better out there. This is just what I found to work the best for me, and it still has allowed me to dominate in the PvP zones. As normal, in this video we will be going over skills, playstyle, gear, and the Paragon board. There will be timestamps and a link to the build in the description below. For skills, we will be using Poison Imbuement, Shadow Step, Twisting Blades, Shadow Clone, Concealment, and Puncture with combo points. We have a lot of unstoppables in this setup, which is super important. We use Poison Imbuement as it's a great dot and allows us to decrease our opponent's damage output, Shadow Step for CC break and engagement, Twisting Blades because that's what we use in our PvE setup and it's just super easy to swap gear for it. And Shadow Clone is super important here. Without it, there's classes that we just don't stand a chance against, such as Hodobarbs and Iceworks. The 5-second Unstoppable is our strongest utility in this setup. Concealment we use to sneak up on people that are either extracting or mid-fight, and we can also use this as a CC break if needed. Puncture for combo point synergy, and we can knock people off their mounts if they're trying to run away. On to playstyle. As a rogue, you have to be very cautious in how you play. Some fights we can just all out and win if we outgear or outlevel our opponents, but if it's an even matchup, you have to be very careful. We don't have any immunities or prolonged unstoppables, so we want to burn out our target's cooldowns and then go for the finish. Use your CC breaks as needed and don't burn through Shadow Step and Concealment. Use Shadow Clone as a last resort and or to give you time to get your other CC breaks back up. Remember, if you don't have any CC breaks up, you're going to be CC chained and lose a fight. Onto gear and aspects. For our helmet, get ranks to Poison Imbuement, Life, Cooldown percent, and Armor percent with the aspect Might. For your chest plate, get damage reduction, Life, damage reduction from close, and Armor percent with the aspect Disobedience. For your gloves, get ranks to Twisting Blades, Crit Chance, Attack Speed, and either Dex or Critical Strike damage with Imbuments, with the aspect Accelerating. For pants, I was using Temerity for a while for the shield and paired it with Conceited on our amulet, but I remembered about an aspect that gives us much more damage. So for your pants, go ahead and get some legendary pants with life, damage reduction from close, and damage reduction from poison with the aspect Cheats. For your boots, get some with movement speed, energy cost reduction, dodge chance, and dex with Ravenger's aspect. For amulet, we want ranks to weapon mastery, damage reduction, movement speed, and dex percent with the exploiter's aspect. This aspect is a must-have. Without it, we kind of get slammed by barbs in other classes with prolonged unstoppables. Hodobarbs were a big problem for me until I put this on. Now we can win against them fairly often. Rings, we're using our same PvE rings with life, crit chance, crit damage, and vuln damage, with the aspects energizing and expectant. And yes, other players are considered elites. And lastly, our weapons. Crossbow stays the same with crit damage, vuln damage, core damage, and dex with the Blade Dancer's aspect. Our one-hand sword get crit damage, vuln damage, core damage, and dex with rapid. And yes, again, I am using Condemnation on my offhand. For your jewels, get 3 ruby, 2 topaz for your armor, skulls for your jewelry, and emerald for your weapons. I got a few requests to show my character screen with the stats, so here's a quick look at my life, armor, attack power, crit chance, crit damage, and vuln damage. Onto our skill tree. So we're going to take Puncture as normal here. Down to Twisting Blades, we're going to take Improved Twisting Blades, which allows us to daze enemies while they're impaled. What daze does is it makes it so they can't attack you. They can move, but they can't use their skills or attack you, unless it's a CC break or an unstoppable skill. Next, we're going to take Sturdy, Siphoning Strikes. Down at Shadow Step, Discipline Shadow Step is more of a safe bet because you'll be able to reduce that cooldown and have it up more often. You can take Methodical Shadow Step for the stun. The stun is really nice when you're engaging. It also can bait out some CC breaks. Pick up 2 points into Rugged with 3 into Reactive Defense, 3 into Weapon Mastery, 1 point into Concealment, 1 into Exploit with 3 into Malice. And you're going to max out Poison Imbuement with both the small nodes here, 3 into Deadly Venom, 3 into Debilitating Toxins, 3 into Precision Imbuement, and then go ahead and pick up all of Shadow Clone for that Unstoppable for 5 seconds, 2 into Innervation just for some more energy sustain, 1 into Adrenaline Rush, and 3 into Haste for some movement speed, And then you can either take close quarters for that attack speed, or you can take momentum for extra damage reduction. So onto our Paragon board. So the only changes that we have is first we unspec out of Deadly Ambush, and we go ahead and replace this board here with the No Witnesses board and pick up No Witnesses. We also get a bunch of life from this board as well as more crit damage. And having No Witnesses for that extra damage, one with your ult, and then just another 10% increase for 20 seconds is really strong to have here. But other than that, it stays the same, so it's really easy to just swap back and forth between your PvE board and your PvP board. And that sums up this build guide. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments below. I have a bunch more guides planned for the future, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss them. That's all for today. Have fun and take care.